We had one tragedy the other night when the 14-year-old was shot. Why in the world did we have to continue to have what we had last night with people just going out and stealing and trying to destroy? That's not what this is about. That's not what the family of that 14-year-old wants. That's not what this community wants. That's not what this community stands for. Just like 3 years ago, the community stood up and said, no, we don't need that here in Columbia. And we're getting the same thing today. Numerous calls, and text messages and emails from people saying, why? Why did that happen? I can't stand here and tell you why, but I will stand here and tell you that we're not going to tolerate that, just like we didn't tolerate it 3 years ago. We're going to identify every one of those people who went in that store last night and destroyed it and looted it and stole stuff. What does stealing a case of beer have to do with a 14-year-old being shot and a person responsible charged with murder? Somebody explain that. What does that have to do with stealing beer? What does that have to do with this young man losing his life? It's just totally uncalled for.
Do you know that we owe Ukrainians reparations for building and defending this nation? Oh, my bad. I meant to say Black Americans. Notice how there was not one study, not one hearing needed before sending billions of dollars to Ukrainians, nor any other group. Yet, when the topic of reparations for the descendants of American slaves is mentioned, we get told a motley of excuses. And I know some of you want to blame the Republicans, but it is for the Democrats that Black Americans vote 85 to 95%. And the Democrats have been complicit in their neglect of Black Americans as well. Maybe it's time we elect politicians that are actually going to fight for us. Maybe it's time we do something different, something better. Join me in getting us not just better, but the best. Join me in this fight. Thank you.
Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us.
All right. Welcome once again to the Beatzilla PDX official show. I am your host, Beatzilla PDX officially. And we are here for a midweek report. Hopefully, everybody is doing well. Make sure sounds good. Okay. Yeah, we're good. All right. So, yes, like I said, hopefully everybody is doing well. And we have a few topics to cover tonight. But nonetheless, I can turn this down. So it's blazing in my face. But yeah, we have a few a few topics to cover. But this again probably will not be too long of a broadcast. But we'll see. You know how that goes. With that being said, please like and share as you are coming in. Please like and share as you are coming in. And if you could hit that notification bell if you haven't already, and hit that word all. That way you'll be notified anytime. Well, you should already be subscribed, but that way you would be notified anytime this channel goes live or a broadcast is uploaded. So let's see what we got in the chat. Let's see who we got in here. And early in the house, we have Yo 103 Queenin. Yes, indeed. Why are my people still going into these Asian shops in black neighborhoods, still supporting them? I think in some of those cases, some of these people are just simply in food deserts. So it's almost like if you had to go to the Klan, like back in with sharecroppers, they only had one option. So for some people, they're squeezed into those type of times when it comes down to groceries, unfortunately. One who cares. Welcome. Patricia Slade in the house. Welcome. Good evening from Jersey City. Yes, indeed. We have Lawrence Lilly in the house. Welcome, brother. And we also have our good sister and graduate, Judah Queen. And once again, congratulations, sister. We have Oyela's Cadence. Welcome. Greetings. We are officially international. We got Key Prince in the building. Welcome, Key Prince, sister. Good sister. We got our brother, Kid Gravity Beyond in the building. What is going on, my brother? And we got Blueberry Muffin in the house. What is going on, sister? I see you. And Rhonda Smith in the house. Welcome and good evening. Yes, indeed. So, I came across this this particular story. Y'all are familiar with the Skip Gates, cat. Oh, Sheriff Leon. Yeah, I knew it wasn't going to be good. Yeah, we're gonna get back to that dude in a minute. Hopefully, I'm not freezing. Am I freezing on that end? Because it definitely is not showing me freezing here. So hopefully, I'm not. But it looks like I'm doing a little bit of freezing. Oh, oh yeah, let's get into thought you were a new mom. No. She just changed her handle. But yeah, like I said, I came across this. Okay, I'm good. Cool. I came across this little story, and let's see, where is this at? Okay, so according to Gates, the words will also be added to the. Well, did I go down to where? Am I missing something? Okay, no, that is what I got. So basically, I just wanted to go over this because now they're talking about adding black words to the dictionary, to Oxford's. And I just wanted to show y'all some of these words that they're talking about, and they're adding to the, I guess, lexicon, as you will, as black words. And so that's how this is going to be known. So you already know that this has the potential to go the wrong way. David Boyd in the house. Good evening, my brother. And we have our sister Tia to you. I see you in the building. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes, indeed. Yeah, y'all be on that dude Lot's top. Good Lord. And with good reason. But let me show y'all this. Let's see, what's the first word? Bussin'. You are really about to put bussin'. And you're attributing this word to as black words. It's like when you see Skip Gates popping up, you kind of should be going on alert anyway. So anyway, yeah, bussin', see, especially describing food. Tasty, delicious, also more generally impressive, excellent. Wow. Describing a party, event, etc. Busy, crowded, lively. Variant forms bussin', bussing, bussin'. Lord. The next one is grill. A removable or permanent dental overlay, typically made of silver, gold, or another metal, and often inset with gemstones, which is worn as jewelry. Bussin'. And then now grill. And you're a removable or permanent dental overlay. I mean, so you are only describing one group of people who really have made this extremely popular. You know what I mean? But nonetheless, wow. Which is worn as jewelry. Promised land. A place perceived to be where enslaved people and later African American more generally could find refuge and live in freedom. Etymology, a reference to the biblical story of Jewish people seeking freedom from the Egyptian bondage. I always crack up how they always say Jewish people while referring to the Old Testament. Like, no, them people never referred to themselves as Jew. There's no such thing as a Jew in the Old Testament. That would not belong there. It's not there. But nonetheless, moving along, chitterlings. Wow. Knocking it out the park, man. Knocking it out the park. We have Tay the man in the house. Tay the man in the house. Welcome, brother. Oh Lord, this is painful. A dish made from pig intestines that are typically boiled, fried, or stuffed with other ingredients. Occasionally, also pig intestines also as an ingredient to what? Anyway, variant forms: chitlins, chitterlings, kitchen. It's almost like every word has some kind of negative connotation to it. I mean, is it me? Kitchen. Lord. The hair at the nape of the neck, which is typically shorter, kinkier, and considered more difficult to style. All right. Cakewalk. Now I don't know why this was necessarily. I mean, maybe I don't know I don't know this part of my of history, but I guess cakewalk, a contestant in which black people would perform a stylized walk in Paris or in pairs, typically judged by a plantation owner. The winner would receive some type of cake, something that is considered easily done, as in the job is a cakewalk. And you think this is black slang? How? I mean, this is something they were they were entertaining a slave owner, and somehow this is like, oh, this is the words that black people use it. And oh man, this is horrible. Okay, like I said, anytime you see Skip Bates around, you can pretty much just to take it for what it is. It's gonna be some BS somewhere around there. Let's see. Old school. Characteristics of early hip hop or rap music that emerged in New York City between the late 70s to the mid 1980s, which includes the use of couplets, funk, and disco. Couplets? Am I missing something on that? What's a couplet? Because in hip hop, maybe I'm missing something there. Funk and disco samples. Yeah, let's get back to that couplet. It's like, what part of music is that? Are they throwing something in there? Because I ain't nothing I ever heard of. Couplets, whatever. And playful lyrics, also used to describe the music and the artists of that style and time period. Variant form of old school. Pat? Oh, that's a whole different word, ain't it? Okay, well, whatever. Oh, old school. Stop it. The I didn't catch that at first. So, the variant form, old school. Boy, what did I say? When you got Skip Gates in the vicinities, things is going to go bad quickly. And so, oh yeah, these are black words. And if you don't get out of here, one of them being cakewalk. How do you say cakewalk? I mean, are you kidding? Oh, well, they was up there performing for the slave master. What? That's our word? What's wrong with these people? Oh, Sidonian Snow, welcome, welcome, welcome. Eric B. and Rakim, yes, indeed. Judah Queen said, we did not ask for this. Exactly. Exactly. Okay, so next word is pat. To tap the foot in rhythm with music, sometimes as an indication of participation in religious worship. Oh goodness. Intransitive, usually a form, usually a usually of a person's foot. I mean, hold on, man. Pat, are you really kidding me? And to tap your foot, pat. I've never heard anybody say I'm gonna pat my foot. This is just getting worse by the minute. Tasha Peters, good evening. Good evening, sister. Good evening. Good evening. Oh, Lord. All right. So usually have a person's foot to tap in rhythm with music, sometimes to demonstrate participation in religious worship. So they're going to church there. Aunt Hagar's children, a reference to black people collectively. The etymology probably a reference to Hagar in the Bible, who with her sons Ishmael was cast out by Sarah and Abraham, Ishmael's father, and became among some black communities the symbolic mother of all Africans and African Americans and of black womanhood. Get the hell out of here. How on earth did Hagar become our mother? Huh? I mean, Hagar? Wow. Literally all even these female Masonic organizations are all themed after women in the line of David. So it's kind of odd that you'll be, oh yeah, we're going to go all the way over here to Ishmael. That's the father of all. And how did you get to African and all African Americans? Now, see, here's again, we're going to a whole nother thing here. Cyberdyne 100, what is going on? Oh Lord, I tell you, the only one they need to do is reparations. I bust out laughing at they say these words in the doctrines reparations. Oh boy, you already know somebody gonna try to suggest it. You'll see it. You'll probably see one of those little low-level trolls try that one. Oh Lord. Oh, and black womanhood too. That part. Since when has Hagar been attributed to black womanhood? Anyway. And no, he's not the. And Ishmael would. How would Ishmael be known the father of all Africans unless you are saying that Africans and Arabs are alike? Because the Arabs to this day would tell you that they descend from Ishmael. So I'm trying to fit family. That one right there, Hagar's. Just stop it. Damn, Skip. Like I said, you skip Bates, you just knew it was going to be trouble. Ring shout. A spiritual ritual involving a dance where participants follow one another in a ring shape, shuffling their feet and clapping their hands to accompany chanting and singing. The dancing and chanting gradually intensify and often conclude with participants exhibiting a state of spiritual ecstasy. Where the hell did this come from? What is this man trying to put on black folks? Who ring shout? Is that something that we okay, then let's go back over what we just saw, family. Because these last few words that are on here, these should be why are the just look at the time frame they're using these. So here let's go back up there. Bussing, right? Okay, that is like that is a very, very, very recent expression. Grill. Not really sure why you would even put that in there, but anyway, um, that clearly is fairly new as well. Promised land. Now you kind of start getting into you could get into the Bible. However, I cannot help but notice that they went and made the reference to the Bible versus making the reference to the actual slavery that they were in. So that's a little slick trick right there. Because how the hell would the etymology be all the way? You're skipping over America's slavery to talk about the Bible? Ain't you bitching? How you get there? I mean, promised land was so a place perceived to be where enslaved, a place perceived to be where enslaved people and later African Americans. See, there we go. And more generally, what does that mean? Oh, was that flat blackness? So you just pay attention to what they trying to pull here. And it's pretty clear. It's definitely pretty clear. They are running game. They are running straight game. Mm, mm, mm. Oh Lord. So yeah, I just wanted y'all to see that. And again, with this, it's the like old school. Come on, the cakewalk thing though. This is what it really, man. This part here, typically judged by a plantation owner. So you are performing for the slave master. And you're now going to attribute cakewalk to us. Aye. Thanks, Skip. But this one here, where on earth did you get this? Aunt Hagar's children. This is a reference I have never heard in my life. This and ring shout. I ain't heard neither one of these. Where these two terms come from? I mean, man, I cannot say I have heard these terms before. Maybe they're terms out of a like a certain part of the country where, like, maybe a certain state or something. But ring shout? And doing it in a ring. It's like, we all seen shouting at church, and that ain't what that don't sound like what this is. I mean, it sounds kind of close, but no. Truth be told, that kind of sounds like the tether pop. If you think about it. That kind of sound like that tether pop. That Ethiopian dance. I ain't gonna play it. But that's what it kind of remind me of. You feel what I'm saying? Cyberdyne 100. Thank you so much for the super chat. Something for the bill, brother. Black first. Appreciate that, brother. Peace, power, blessings, and protection be upon you and yours. I much appreciate that. Thank you so much for the super chat. And man, appreciate it. And shout out to some chick named Star, who she says $1 a day keeps the white supremacists away. Mm-hmm. Oh, goodness. Lordy me. Yes, indeed. Yo 103 Queenan. Yeah, actually, we read your message first, because your message was in the chat when we started. So when I got into the studio, I seen your message. And Blueberry Muffin said, ring shout comes from Kojic, Pentecostal Holiness Apostolic Church, Holy Rollers, and Bench Jumpers. Well, I've never heard it called that. Like I said, it sounds very close, but it also could be interpreted for some other things that I've seen that could kind of be familiar as well. And I tend to lean towards that. But, because I'm looking at what they're trying to lump over with black folks. In the mixed radio, what is going on? Black first. Mm-hmm. Stop supporting Calvinist people. Dark-skinned brother in the house. What's going on, brother? What is going on? So, family, let's see. We're gonna get to what do I want to hit first? Oh, yeah, I know what I want to do. Oh, Lord. Do you know what's going on in Chicago? Shout out to our brother Afro Eat. Man, they dealing with it out there, ain't they? They dealing with it out there. This is, I guess, this is from earlier today. So they're about to, they approved, what was that, 51 million to give these illegals, the illegal invaders that are being placed in the city of Chicago in black neighborhoods where the city has refused to invest in. All of a sudden, they have $51 million now to, and I could be undercutting that number, but I know at the very least it's 51 million. So, and I've seen it, I've seen how much they could give the people from Ukraine and the Afghans in my own city. Well, all of a sudden, boy, they can find money out of nowhere. So all of the man reparations would break the country and it kill the economy. Hey, BS. You funding a war and funding for their people to come over here while you're passing laws that allow them to be police officers. Oh, yeah, they're also doing that in Chicago, too. However, I believe the felons out there probably still can't vote. I don't know. I don't know about the state of Illinois, but ain't that funky? So check this out.
Had to step in. We're talking about city council today. A vote to spend $51 million in Chicago. There for the action in Dana, strong feelings all around.
Yeah, Erica, and for many different reasons, among them the fact that this $51 million approved today is only a short-term fix and more money will be needed in just weeks.
We cannot continue to falsely pit communities against one another.
Deep emotional wounds coming to the surface.
As Black people who have been hurt continuously by the city and country it loves, it ain't our responsibility to take care of everybody else.
And anger.
We don't want to have to recall anybody. We don't want to have to protest anybody, but we are not going to be ignored, Brandon, Mayor Johnson.
Many in Chicago's Black community and the city council speaking out against spending $51 million to house migrants, asking when will the help for them finally become a reality.
And it cannot put on the backs of the residents of Chicago without showing them that they're getting something out of this.
Mayor Brandon Johnson, presiding over his second full city council meeting, had to ask for calm more than once.
Will the sergeant of arms please restore some order?
Police also intervening at one point to allow the meeting to proceed. Ultimately, the measure passed with 34 votes. And many who voted to approve the money, like 49th Ward Alderwoman Rhea Haddon, call this an immediate crisis that needs attention. So do these Black residents.
Why are Chicago and some communities so angry? Why is all this kind of anti-immigrant sentiment coming up? And I want to explain to folks, it's because if we cared as much about Black people and had over the decades as we do about everyone else, we wouldn't.
I had to pause that real quick because, see, that is another lie. We're not here because people don't know who they're not caring for or the other. That's not true. And see, that's where you need to be. That's where you, when you start listening to the same rhetoric, because they start getting you into this mind state of what people are unaware of. There's city leaders and state leaders and federal governments that have worked for a very long time and function at extremely high level. How all of a sudden the voter base and the voter block out of that group, all of a sudden, oh, we don't know what's going on. I mean, come on, man. Come on, man. And yeah, oh yeah, anti-immigrant. Wait a minute. And see, I'm going to play something else a little later too. But yeah, see, yeah, listen to that anti-immigrant. Uh-oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. See, you're using certain talking points. I'm surprised she didn't throw out xenophobic. But yeah, it's kind of it's interesting to see. Why do I look frozen? What on earth? Yeah, it looks like I keep freezing. That's crazy. I don't know what's going on. Because the way it's showing me, I'm looking pretty good. No lagging at all, but I guess. Anyway, I guess we're going to still keep it rolling. I had to use a different computer for this broadcast, but it's newer. So let's see. Yeah, anti-black agenda. So again, like I'm saying, they're going to keep doing that. Well, see, and see, they're trying to make people act like they understand. They're not. They're using that type of language to not point at the exact problem. So what it's tailored language to make sure that you're not bashing the Democratic agenda that's creating this crisis. And because see, when you start hearing anti-immigrant, now you're starting to put blame on Black folks for some kind of animosity towards another group. That is also a dangerous thing. We seem to see that happening. There's an uptick in anti-Semitic. There's a steady drumbeat of anti-Blackness. Can we at some point get around to address that? But anyway, here we go.
Here.
But the money for 2021 surplus only last 1 month. Many older people say time for a long-term plan and some state and federal help. With that, should taxpayers be concerned?
I think we should all be concerned anytime we have a lot of situation, especially without a real sight of federal support coming.
Hours after the meeting, Mayor Brandon Johnson offered no specifics.
We're going to have a figure in the city of Chicago, but that's going to be a collaborative approach.
As timeline, long-term plan.
No, sir, it is not. And so listen to what he's saying. Basically, doing nothing. Doing nothing. That's the answer. Oh, boy. And with that, there is something to be said about, again, when these people want to get out here and start caping for the Democrat. We got to, and I wanted to watch that Yvette Carnell and was it a Karen Hunter interview? And, there's some things that I took away from that it just caught my attention. And so just as I'm hearing that woman speak in Chicago, make no mistake, I'm hearing the same type of language out that Yvette Carnell interview. Funny, huh? Anyway, yep. So we're going to talk about this a little bit later. Oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Oh man, and we somebody shot me a really quick clip of Subway Bronson. Because these people, hey dude, I'm not racist, man. I mean, I don't have a racist bone in my body. Well, here's an off-the-cuff clip from Subway Bronson, aka the Subway Killer, Daniel J. Penny. and he was caught at the wrong moment.
All right, I'd like to solve the puzzle. Niggers!
Oh, I need to put his face on that. I need to put his face on that. Telling you, these people, I'm not racist. I'm not racist. Yeah, okay, buddy. Okay, fella. Oh man, the alderman is a socialist, Diane Scott. Really? Well, I mean, it's a lot going on out there. I will say that. It's a lot of too much going on out there. Put it that way. Well, see, South Park, if you don't understand the point of that clip, the question that he was answering was people who annoy you or people that annoy you. And instead of it being naggers, not to be confused with LA Nakers, but naggers was the answer. So like I said, that's the Daniel J. Penny interview. But needless to say, there's another story that just recently happened. Earlier, I just seen this earlier today. Came across my feed, and people are losing their minds out here, family. This woman, this 54-year-old woman, wanted to duct tape a 10-year-old special needs child on the school bus for whatever reason. And now she's got her ass charged. And rightfully so, because it makes no sense for a 54-year-old woman to be, the story goes is that she literally bound this kid by the wrist and by around the ankles. Like, you trying to kidnap this kid or something? So it's a little weird. So check this out.
A school bus driver in Delaware County off the job tonight after she was arrested for restraining a child with duct tape. That young child is a special needs student. Action News reporter Annie McCormick, she is live for us tonight with the story on this. She's live for us in Upper Darby. Annie, what are you learning about this really disturbing story?
Yeah, and Greg, according to the criminal complaint, the driver actually told police in an interview that this wasn't the first time that she had duct taped the 10-year-old victim. She had actually done it at least once before. The district attorney announced charges today.
Wow.
She has been charged with
wow.
illegal restraint, and endangering the welfare of a child.
Delaware County District Attorney Jack Stolzheimer listing the charges that this bus driver, 54-year-old Juliet Pratt, faces after she allegedly taped a special needs student on the bus on the way to Hillcrest Elementary School back in early March. It's news enraging parents in the district.
It's heartbreaking. I mean, and you said it was a special needs kid. That should be fired immediately and prosecuted to the fullest extent.
She was driving a bus that had a 10-year-old boy who my understanding is he has Down syndrome. He's in a special harness on the bus, and she decided for whatever reason, we do not know, that she needed to add additional illegal criminal restraints.
The criminal complaint states authorities reviewed surveillance video and Pratt is observed cutting the tape off of the student, and the student exits the bus and she throws it in the trash can. Authorities say the video from the bus shows the student never tried to move or leave his seat. The criminal complaint states that Pratt admitted to authorities that she used duct tape on the child's ankles and chest, and Pratt stated that she has duct taped the student once before this incident.
Nobody should be duct taping anybody's child on any.
Wow. The hell is wrong with this
And
woman?
Gray, tonight the school district did release a statement saying that they are aware of the incident and they are cooperating with police. They would not state specifically what her employment status is, but they did say that she is no longer driving buses at this time. For now, reporting live in Upper Darby, Annie McCormick for Action News at 10 on PHL 17. Gray.
Wow. All I can say is wow. Now, so yeah, that is the story that I said came across my desk today. So I don't know what this special needs kid is or not. Um, but nonetheless, this woman don't need to be driving no bus around nobody's kids, because if she'll do this to a kid with Down syndrome, how does she feel about other ethnicities? You understand what I'm saying? And no, she don't need to be around nobody's young ones. Like, keep her away from all black children. That's not right. Man, I don't know. If she's willing to do that to a special needs child, yeah, what other things don't she like? Oh yeah, I've done it before. And she's saying it like, oh, I mean, it should be cool. The hell is wrong with this woman? Yeah, so I mean, I would strongly suggest keeping your children away from her. And let me see. There's another story I was looking for. Is this? Okay. Is this it? Okay, yes. Yeah. So real quick, I wanted to touch up and follow up on, of course, City Bike Carolyn Bryant, and that story, because see, one thing that happened when the woman tried to have her lawyer bring out that receipt, the time was omitted, and then this young man out here, he proceeded to go ahead and give all the receipts, and then first his sister did. And here's another thing. I could very clearly tell that they were immigrants. That was not a that came as no surprise. But I guess there's things being said on the internet. And what's so crazy is you hear folks take this is how people do. There will be a faceless, followerless profile saying crazy stuff on the internet or on Twitter. And just because they got FBA or something in their name, then, oh man, all them FBAs are xenophobic and this and that. Watch for stuff like that as well, because that's that agent-like behavior. And it's something to keep a strong eye on. But nonetheless, the young man that was accosted by this woman, it's saying the way it's talking though is like the black teen whose rental bike feud is with a white New York City hospital worker went viral. Said the woman was the one who did something wrong, but instead got rewarded by white conservatives with more than 100,000 in donations. Now, here's what you all got to stop doing. White conservatives. Wait a minute. Yeah, there's a lot of that going on. I'm noticing where the wording that people are starting to use is very, well, number one, it's very divisive, because truth be told, let's just keep it real. White people, if you're keeping it a buck, that's not, well, white conservatives, you can't tell anybody that, like, all the people that donated to her, you mean to tell me you are just strongly knowing all of their political affiliations? No one could say that. So when you see stuff like that, people talk, well, there's a bunch of conservatives. Miss me with that type of talk. You leading people with that. Let's see, video of the confrontation between the teen and Sarah Comrie showed the pair arguing over a rental bike. Actually, no, it showed her steal his phone. It showed her keep repeatedly touching him, the minor. And and then she again, yes, she reaches across him. So again, she kept nonstop assaulting the man. So I don't know where that would not be assault, because if that was the other way around and he were repetitively touching her, I think that somebody would probably be getting him up, or probably would still be locked up right now. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Okay, so yeah, arguing on a rental bike with the teen accusing Comrie of taking his bike and Comrie yelling for help. Now, see again, she didn't take the bike. She actually took his phone. A clip of the incident was viewed millions of times on social media, and Comrie faced widespread backlash for how she reacted, with some critics accusing her of racism. Comrie's attorney, Justin Marino, previously confirmed Comrie was the one involved and told Insider that the client reserved the bike. Marino said then, how can she reserve the bike when it wasn't docked? Them kids was on the bike going across town. How could she possibly have reserved that bike? Now, I'm pretty sure them bikes don't work that way. I want this particular bike. How do you know that's going to be there? They rode across New York. They rode them bikes across the city. What are you talking about? Yo, 103. Thank you so much. 103 Queenin. Thank you so much for the super chat. Peace, power, blessings, and protection be up on you and yours. Thank you so much for that super chat. Blueberry Muffin said, I sprayed mace on people that thought they had the right to put their hands on me. I mean, really though. Got to protect yourself. Let's see. A city receipt previously shared with Insider shows Comrie's payment for the same city bike the teen rode earlier in that day. But the 17-year-old says he was taking a break with the bike at the time and his own receipts to show he had used it, according to News One. And I've already played those on this broadcast. The teen who spoke using a pseudonym told News One he rented the bike on May 12th, but docked it at the bike station in Manhattan to reset the timer so he wouldn't be charged extra for going over the 45-minute ride. Let me see. We already heard all of that. I want to get to because there was some things said by the mom. Where is that at? Okay, so it says the teen told News One that while Comrie was initially criticized, everything flipped after her lawyer published her receipts. People started calling me a thief, a thug, and a black man, he said, according to News One. That part, I think, bothered people a little bit. And with good reason. That's kind of an interesting statement. Being called a thief, a thug, a black man. Okay, brother. Yeah, here's the last little line here. No one is helping us. The teen's mother, who also didn't use her real name, told the news outlet, "We are poor people. We are immigrants. We can't afford a lawyer." So, and I take that as that is a call for help from the people that you want to help you. Because to say that nobody has helped you, black folks have been talking about this nonstop. That's how it's been viewed over a million times. We did that. So, oh man, and then the problem is they're calling me a black man. Oh, really? Son, you would not be in the position you're in to number one, you vindicated yourself, but I guess now it makes a lot of sense on why you guys are cowering in this manner when you have receipts to prove your truth. But it makes total sense now. And so, again, if you're not going to stand for yourself, see, it's not being xenophobic not to pick up somebody else's fight when they will not fight for themselves. That is not our job. And, that is done way too much to us. I don't know why, but, it is. Am I still glitchy? Because I don't know why I'm freezing like that. That's crazy. Because I'm literally in this video fine. But so I don't know. If this broadcast stays glitchy, I'm gonna check out the replay, because in the studio, I'm A-okay. So if I have to, I'll just upload this video. Because I don't like the way it's lagging and whatnot. So I'll just have to and we'll work it out some kind of way. We'll figure it out. So the fine and married. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Rain Love said he's not FBA. No. No. Them kids are not FBA. They're immigrants. I mean, you can hear it. You can hear it in their accents. So you heard like, hey, what are you doing? I mean, you could kind of hear the Joloff. Just put it to you that way. I mean, but understand it. For me, it's the principle of the matter. So, unlike how they always say we are, no, he got some attention. But you can't go saying things like that when you can't keep burning foundational Black Americans when people say, hey, this is wrong. But nonetheless, we had to look at this situation because that Carolyn Bryant routine, that's actually the important thing here that we needed to highlight. So, yeah, I can hear the bush meat. Oh, Reginald Jeter, what's going on, brother? And see, it's unfortunate, but I mean, we might actually have to start doing this when people like, hey, hey, help us, brother. Hey, man, where's your family from? I mean, I hate to be like that, because all of a sudden you're talking about you don't like being black, or you're saying being called a black man is such a bad thing. Yeah. And see, here's the thing. Man, unity and all of this. See, when you give it up like that, this is how it's going to end, because you have to be honest. This is a young teenager in high school why does he have anti-foundational Black American sentiment? So if y'all looking at in that Pan-African ride, and hey man, y'all need to embrace the spirit of Pan-Africanism, man. I'm just saying. So another ridiculous situation. I guess Lizzo makes history for being the first Black woman or whatever to headline, I guess, this festival or whatever. I could totally see why. See, when people refuse to understand old racist running jokes, then they just willfully participate in being the running joke. Because, they'll get well compensated for entertaining these people. It's like I was saying about that word, that Aunt Hager's children or whatever. This is when, they want you to embarrass yourself. Be your own court gesture while being a mammy. So, you get to be the best of both worlds, and then she could play the flute. So she's the perfect minstrel. She sings, she dances, and she's also appealing to the Aunt Jemima mammy side of the game as well. The one they trust in the house. Because oftentimes the master didn't want her. She's the safe one. The mistress want them Lizzos in the house. That's who's working in the kitchen, working around that house. I know little young cute thing, because they know what they men was into. But anyway, congratulations, Lizzo. They say all money ain't good money. I don't take heed of that, sister. Just saying. So let's get to this Rick Chow dude who took this young brother's life over supposed shoplifting. And then it comes to find out that this kid never stole. He didn't steal anything. So it's like, no, this is just a flat out murder. You weren't even protecting property. But what makes it so damn ironic is then the damn cop comes out and starts saying, well, the comparison is a beast. Night Rider in the building. Welcome, brother. I mean, the comparison, to make that type of connection, dude, you out of your mind, man. So for those of you who were not at the very beginning of this broadcast, I will play the first video that I started with so y'all can kind of understand where we're going with it.
We had one tragedy the other night when the 14-year-old was shot. Why in the world did we have to continue to have what we had last night with people just going out and stealing and trying to destroy? That's not what this is about. That's not what the family of that 14-year-old wants. That's not what this community wants. That's not what this community stands for. Just like 3 years ago, the community stood up and said, no, we don't need that here in Columbia. And we're getting the same thing today. Numerous calls and text messages and emails from people saying, why? Why did that happen? I can't stand here and tell you why, but I will stand here and tell you that we're not going to tolerate that, just like we didn't tolerate it 3 years ago. We're going to identify every one of those people who went in that store last night and destroyed it and looted it and stole stuff. What does stealing a case of beer have to do with a 14-year-old being shot and a person responsible charged with murder? Somebody explain that. What does that have to do with stealing beer? What does that have to do with this young man losing his life? It's just totally uncalled for.
Don't be stealing out here. Just don't be doing all this stealing. This man was a tragedy. No, here's the whole point. At this moment, you might want to take the approach to understand, damn the property. This is, and who's stealing? It's that dude's store, the killer's store. What are you talking about? How you come out caping for his property? He done took somebody's life. He took a teenager's life. And you over here caping for that dude's store? Man, if you don't go somewhere with that, come on, man. Yeah, well, I don't even understand. He for a 12-pack of beer, what, he gonna miss it? Wow. Talk about tone deaf. Good grief, dude. So check this out. This is one of the news reports, and then there was some interesting things about that developments about this Rick Chow guy. But check this out.
Bond hearing for 58-year-old Rick Chow, the gas station owner who is now facing a murder charge, and the death of 14-year-old Cyrus Carmack Belton. Sam.
Darcy, Andrea, I'm outside of the Richland County Sheriff's Department where Sheriff Leon Lott just gave that update. Now, according to deputies, this all came after the 14-year-old Cyrus Carmack Belton was chased out of a gas station and shot by the owner, Rick Chow. Today, Chow went in front of a magistrate judge for his first court appearance. No recorded audio was allowed in the courtroom during the hearing at the Richland County Jail, which lasted less than 10 minutes. Chow and his attorney had no comment. Cyrus's family was in the courtroom, along with the victim advocate and representative from the family's attorney. Family also chose not to comment, but members of the community who live near the gas station are speaking up.
I'm just heartbroken at the whole situation. Like, I really and truly am. This is devastating.
Leroy Hall lives near where Carmack Belton shot. Overnight, law enforcement said the station was vandalized by protesters.
It's really tore apart now. You know, windows are busted out. You know, they got open bottles, water bottles all over the places. And the signs that's on the windows, they are impactful, man. They really making a bold statement with it.
A statement of anger over the young teenager being gunned down, shot in the back. Law enforcement says the owner believed Carmack Belton had stolen water bottles, which was not true.
You hear stuff like that across the nation, but not here. You know, it rarely happens here. And to have it so close is even more frustrating.
Andrew McLean lives near the station and tells me he's frustrated with another instance of gun violence affecting a young black man.
I love to see the support for Cyrus. And I understand people.
Okay. Wait. Okay. So when I first came across this story, I was seeing articles that was kind of popping up, and I wasn't sure. And I see a few videos of news reports, and I'm like, why do they keep talking about gun violence? But yeah, okay. I'm hearing some more familiarity here. We're getting into the just another death by gun violence. Whoa. Wait a minute. You're gonna act like this had nothing to do with race. Notice how they went on code. Oh, it's gun violence. I mean, it's definitely guns. Wow. Wow.
But it could have been like.
Like Jackson, who says he thinks there's a more effective way of dealing with the tragedy.
Trust to get things done. You know, once you do stuff like this, it affects other people too. You know, it affects everybody else too. So I think the handle.
Oh, young man. Are you? Where did they find him? Sambo. Nah, brother, that ain't it. That ain't it, brother. I mean, man, you guys can do something different. I mean, we gotta just start. No. This, what are y'all talking about? This is literally the man's story that gunned down a 14-year-old. What are you talking about? I mean, man, you gotta realize, man, when you do this, it's bad for other people too. What? What? Oh, brother, no.
Like this, it affects other people too. You know? It affects somebody else. So I think the more productive way is let the court.
Chow will appear in front of a general sessions circuit court at a later date. Reporting live in Richland County. Sanford News 19 WLTX.
Let's be honest about how those things have came about, those changes. It actually came by way of people doing stuff like that. So let's just keep it a buck. Because you would not have them changes without it. So, I mean, there's that. I mean, really. But not to mention, while they're out there pouring out so much sympathy for this dude and his story, oh man, you're looting and taking his beer. Well, he needed? Maybe he do. Maybe he's stressed and facing them murder charges. But let's see what's going on here, because there was more that came out about him, and this story was from a few hours ago, right before I was able to start this broadcast. Check this out.
Following the shooting death of a 14-year-old boy who was falsely accused of shooting gas, who has confrontation customers, has been charged with murder. Of course, the community.
I don't like that. I'm gonna do something else. I have to play it this way. Now, mind you, I just played you. I went back and played you to go right there for us. 12-pack of beer. I mean, he wouldn't have wanted this. And it's always about what the people don't want. Don't speak for me. Don't you speak for me, especially when your way ain't going to reap results. It's always interesting that you have someone telling you that the way that you got results isn't the way to get results. Isn't that funny how that works? I mean, we really don't have to be doing. No, what you shouldn't understand, this is a problem. We've been talking about, Oh, by the way, there's a whole new anti-Semitic law or something that Kamala Harris was tweeting about earlier. So they finding some more money to allot to them for something that still has not came close in comparison to black folks. But, but I guess when it's an uptick versus just being a steady drumbeat, I guess upticks get more attention instead of this steady drumbeat, which is outlandishly, exceedingly high over any and every other group that they can say has any uptick. Their uptick can't even see the top floor from there. But I guess it's cool because, when it's us. All right, here it is. So let me check this out, because I guess this dude has a history.
Well, tensions are high tonight in Columbia, South Carolina, following the shooting death of a 14-year-old boy who was falsely accused of shoplifting. The gas station owner, who has a history of confrontations with customers, has been charged with murder. CBS's Nicole Sganga reports the community is fed up with yet another senseless loss of life.
Mourners protested outside this convenience store in Columbia, South Carolina, to remember 14-year-old Cyrus Carmack Belton, who was shot and killed the night before by the store owner. Hours later, rioters broke in, smashing merchandise and toppling shelves, angry over the loss of another young black life.
It was nothing but looting, just plain, pure looting. And what does that got to do with that 14-year-old?
According to the sheriff, on Sunday night, Belton took water bottles from a cooler before putting them back. The store's owner, 58-year-old Rick Chow, thought he was stealing. After they argued, Belton left and was chased down the street by Chow and his son. Then, Chow observed what looked to be a firearm, pulled out his Glock, and fired one shot, hitting the 14-year-old in his back, piercing his heart. The boy's gun was found at the scene.
We believe he had a gun, but we don't believe he pointed at him, and that's the key to it.
Chow is now being held on one charge of murder. The sheriff says the store owner has a history of incidents involving customers, including a shooting in 2018, which was deemed self-defense and for which Chow was not charged. Nader Rutherford is not only the coroner who witnessed Belton's autopsy, but a community member and mother.
It is exhausting to see young black men being killed. It's exhausting to see any person being killed with gun violence.
Behind me, the gas station now boarded up. The 14-year-old's first name, Cyrus, spray painted on its walls. Now, Belton graduated from the 8th grade just last week. His school principal describes him as full of light and humor. Nora?
Nicole Sganga, thank you.
Wow. This boy just graduated from 8th grade. 8th grade. Insane, man. You worry about the beer. I don't understand. Man, you see that store right now, that shit boarded up. So good. I hope all of y'all went and got your groceries. The hell is wrong with these people? And now, again, take notice. Gun violence. And, we tired of seeing young black men cut down by gun violence. Wait a minute. Now, here's the trick. Why are we hearing gun violence now? I mean, gun violence, and this gun violence is not had nothing to do with race. Citibank. Well, I don't even want to be black. The city bike, they call me things like thug and thief and a black man. Okay. Mess with them people the wrong way, they would have been calling you a dead man. You had like I said, you had old wannabe vigilante back there, came popping up right at the end to put the little young man in the chokehold and go ahead and get his Daniel Penny on and choke out a black man, because it's about choking out a black man. And guess what that would be? That wouldn't have anything to do with guns. See? So they're trying to get away from them conversations. They're not talking about Jordan Neely. They're not trying to talk about Daniel Penny. And right now, boy, Ricky Chow, you finna catch it. Because they finna sacrifice you, buddy. And maybe the Asian community might be able to give a damn, and you might be able to work some fandangos off up in that little sector. But as far as the general populace of your Aryan brothers, with you being honorary Aryans, oh yeah, they gonna make sure that you are taking all of Daniel Penny's attention. Yeah, you best believe it. I bet you the McMichaels wish there was Ricky Chow. I mean, man. Hey, man, maybe Rick Chow can get one of those good judges like what Killer Kyle Rittenhouse got. Mass killer Kyle Rittenhouse. Because yeah, he was acquitted, but them people still dead because of him. I don't know where they just say he didn't kill them people. Yo, yeah, he did. So he's a killer. You can call it legal if you want to. And obviously, this dude has shot at somebody before and got off because it was self-defense. Yeah, self-defense only matters when you're not looking like me. So if you're black, there's no such thing as self-defense. And then they'll find every way to make you out to be whatever you are for defending yourself, because the whole point to get black people is get into the mind state of not defending yourself, which is absolute foolishness. And anybody telling you that is an enemy to you. I hope y'all understand that. So yeah, this dude had done Ben had trouble. So yeah, good riddance to this jerk. Get this dude out to paint as should be, because he's a sucker and obviously an anti-black one. So this brings us to this last topic. Oh, there's some things I need to point out. And just like I said before, though, man. Yeah. We got to talk about the shielding of good old Strappy. Because she's your mama. She's your mama. I made you. So anyway, she went on this Karen Hunter show, and she took her little low-key shots. One thing I couldn't help but notice is that as she was doing this little interview, people often talk about unity, right? However, always being so willing to take shots. See, here's the thing that you need to start paying attention to. Now it's starting to become less about just Tariq Nasheed, but it's starting to become the collective of people that they're trying to attach certain things to. Oh, xenophobic. Look out for that line. Oh, they don't want to vote. And here's my thing. You don't have to like somebody. But in these positions in a public view, you should never let somebody get misrepresented. And don't let their position get misrepresented. Because see, that right there, to me, that makes you look like a sucker. Because again, if a person says, well, this is what this group is, you know that ain't true, and you don't say anything, you actually just start talking with the subject, that ain't cool. That ain't cool at all. And that just makes it a real funny style to me. But, who am I? So again, let's get this cracking. Let's get this rolling. I just want to go through a little bit of this. Shout out.
That is the people who bear the cost. Those are descendants of American chattel slaves. Because it's not just about experiencing racism. It's about who built the country and who has been kind of bottom casted. So there has to be some economic redistribution to American descendants of slavery.
That is the voice of Yvette Carnell. You will hear her on Breaking Brown. She is the founder of ADOS, which is an advocacy foundation for reparations. CEO. Let me welcome her to the Karen Hunter Show. Welcome back. Hi.
Thank you. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Someone say, why is she here on a Tech Tuesday? Well, a few Tech Tuesdays ago, I had Mutali Nkande on, and she said some things about your organization, and you were like, hey, I have something to say. And I was like, okay, well, come on and say the things you got to say. Dr. Randall Pinkett is here because, you know, this space is a repository of information. I want to talk to everybody, and I invite everybody.
Now we're getting up. I invite everybody. Okay, now we're starting to move into the dishonest, blatant dishonest territory. Because see, here's the thing that these people do. I let everybody say their side. I let everybody say their piece. There ain't a person over here in the grassroots that's been contacted by you. If you know good and damn well, if you can't get Tariq Nasheed, then you start talking about blanket groups and then say that these random no-face trolls represent an entire group that you refuse to actually speak to, while you understand there's multiple individuals with platforms and personalities and voices out here that you can easily talk to. The point is, you want to get next to Tariq Nasheed because you believe that's the lightning rod, and then we'll take him down, and then we'll just go ahead and get right back on the Democratic train and ride that donkey all the way to 2024, baby. And we stand in the way of that. So now you're trying to talk, because now you can't really keep pushing that whole collective conversation while talking about one person. It doesn't make sense. So now they're starting to get into, well, those people, and then again, I can't help but notice they're really, really good at keeping the framing of the conversation together. So can't help but notice this other thing. Everyone, for a strong period of time, was doing what? FBA is a group. FBA is an organization. FBA is a cult. FBA is this. All of a sudden, that type of talk is, they backed away from that. Listen.
On. Some people don't come, but you always will when I reach out. So I appreciate you when you were talking about it on Twitter. I was like, come on in and tell us what was said that was wrong so that we can fix it. So thanks for coming.
I appreciate being here. I appreciate the invitation. I come in and on your YouTube and you reach right out, and I absolutely appreciate being able to like counter what I view as misinformation.
Yes, we do not want misinformation. So let's deal with the misinformation first. I'm not, sure exactly where it started. I think she said that the ADOS came for her or something, and then that blew up into a thing. So just explain what the situation is and then what actually happened.
Well, the key is we didn't come for her. She came for us in something that was written by the Shorenstein Center. And it was a publication. It was a study supposedly, but it was written by Move On, was like 4 authors, which is a political organization. And we countered it because they accused us of disinformation. They said we misused Chadwick Boseman's death to our benefit. We did not. They said we told Black America we didn't take COVID seriously. That's not true. So there were a lot of accusations.
So is she saying now that she was a jab advocate? Did you get the jab event? Did Tony and Yvette get the jab? Were they jab advocates? I don't know. I mean, some people have suggested. I know that I know Broke Hogan. He was definitely pumping that jab. Because that dude Beatzilla's a clown. So yeah, I mean, I guess we got that jiznab. Y'all like my screenshots? Now let's just take a listen to what they're already doing. They're trying to frame the conversation. So now they're giving her the credibility.
In there to the point where when we issued out a rebuttal to Harvard, Harvard said, you know what, we got to retract this. This doesn't pass editorial muster. And that's why they retracted it. But what she won't own up to is that the stuff in there was just, they were right to retract it. It was wrong. It was untrue. You smeared a grassroots Black organization and a foundation now that is led by a Black woman. And instead of attacking us, we feel that she owes us an apology.
Okay. All right. So next time I talk to her, I will definitely, I'll play this because I think that that's important. I feel like there's enough beef for us to have with this power structure that we shouldn't be beefing with each other. Right. And so there are a lot of people that I don't like how they move in the world. So I'll say some things because if it's not for us, then I'm against it, period.
Now, see, here's my thing about people when that right there. Because now you're making yourself a judge of other Black people while still voting Democrat. You're not equipped or mentally fit to be making such a judgment. But nonetheless, I wish there's enough. Okay, what do you do? What message do you advocate that combats the system of white supremacy? I would wonder because, we got enough. We don't need any more beef and this and that. What are you talking about? Foolishness
At
of it
the
all.
same time, I feel like that's our conversation that we should be having among ourselves. Like when I think about ADOS, foundationally, I like the mission, which is to fight for reparations. Somebody's got to do it. I think they're old. We got to do it. Who should get it? Now, what I don't like is maybe the disparaging of other people. I see that, but that may not even be your organization, but organizations like yours, like with the killing of Mr. Yarl. There was a person that is aligned with a foundational organization that said because his family's not from America, that somehow we shouldn't have, some exactly. You can't.
Okay, see here, I can't stand when people do this. You start purposely getting out here to misrepresent something. This isn't genuine. This isn't this is ridiculous. It's not legit. I just heard a bunch of police outside. What the hell's going on? Just beep, beep. Sound like all the sirens were stopping. What's going on here? But anyway, like I was saying, somebody aligned with this organization. Who? How vague can you be? And how do you know? So this is being vague with no proof while making a solid accusation. That's kind of funny style, and you're making a libelous claim that somebody that went along with it said that. And a matter of fact, what yarn ain't that the boy was shot on the Yarl or whatever? Ain't that the kid that was shot on the at the door? Isn't that who that is? If I remember correctly, if that's the same kid, that kid ain't dead. So wait a minute. Yeah, hold on. What's that boy's name? Yarn or y'all? What? If somebody give me his name in the chat, please. Because that boy ain't dead. If I remember correctly, I just seen some other today say he walking. Is that who they're talking about? Show up after ringing the wrong doorbell. Yeah, that's the story. Yeah, this okay, thank you. Ralph, y'all. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Now that I'm reading, I'm like, wait a minute. That boy ain't dead. He walking. After the killing of him. See, now you start. Damn, let me rewind this then. Because, see, you went out your way to just throw that lie out there. You went out your way to throw that lie out there. See? Catch it.
And a foundation now that is led by a Black woman. And instead of attacking us, we feel that she owes us an apology.
Okay. All right. So next time I talk to her, I'll play this because I think that that's important. I feel like there's enough beef for us to have with this power structure that we shouldn't be beefing with each other, right? And so there are a lot of people that I don't like how they move in the world. So I'll say some things because if it's not for us, then I'm against it. Period. At the same time, I feel like that's our conversation that we should be having among ourselves. Like when I think about ADOS, foundationally, I like the mission, which is to fight for reparations. Somebody's got to do it. I think they're old. We got to do it. Who should get it? Now, what I don't like is maybe the disparaging of other people. I see that, but that may not even be your organization, but organizations like yours, like with the killing of Mr. Yarl, there was a person that is aligned with a foundational organization that said because his family's not from America, that somehow we shouldn't have, exactly. You can't see.
So you're just going to set that whole lie up. Just going to set that whole lie up. That's what I was like, wait. I had a cat say, like, hold on, wait. Talking about the young man that was shot at the doorbell. Well, yeah. Reports says he's actually recovering very well. So yes, he's walking, by the way, and multiple platforms of new Black media spoke on this particular story. Multiple channels. So to act like, well, somebody aligned with them that said this, really? Who? Because you've seen even Tariq Nasheed talking about it. So I mean, who? Who would say that they don't deserve it? Because you didn't hear anybody. That wasn't. When I hear stuff like that, that sounds like this type of things that a certain group of people on Twitter say. And if you're taking because I'm telling you, that's been happening. And I have to wonder, like, well, which one is the damn agent? Because, see, you done did all of this, and now all they could do is point to what them people who do not even identify as foundational Black Americans, they identify with arrows and feathers and things. But the stuff and the off-the-wall stuff, shenanigans that they'll do, always gets attributed to foundational Black America. Somebody affiliated with, they are not. They have fell out with everyone and are their own thing. Let them be them. They call themselves by something. Let that be that. But see, somebody aligned with this and this, and no, they not. Well, remember that one space back there in February? Yeah, that was a long time ago. And another February has came and went. And more fallings out have happened since then. So to be hold on to that, oh, man, shoot, what about that big space? What about it? Spaces come and go too. I mean, that's the truth of the matter, isn't it? But nonetheless, let me play some more.
Yvette's face, but she's like, what? Yes. There was a tweet about this young man, Ralph Yarl, not being Black American, so therefore we shouldn't have the same. I'm like, racists don't care where we're from,
Oh,
Well, here's the thing too. The foundational group that you're talking about, they hate me too. Right.
Oh,
So
okay. Okay.
so we are not in alignment with them. Like we have always, whether you talk about Amadi Dualo, we have always, a Botham Jean, we have always in this country as ADOS come to the aid of other Black people who are being mistreated because of racism, because we know what it feels like.
For Amadou Diallo? ADOS was around then? And let's keep it a buck. Me and Yvette are around the same age. I mean, I guess maybe she's saying that as us Black people in America, but that's just Black America. That's a Black American thing. That ain't an ADOS. Hell are you talking about? when Amadou Diallo got murdered out there in New York, man, I was in high school. I believe I was in high school, maybe even middle school. Like, what is that? Like 89 or something? That was like the year House Party came out. What are you talking about? Hey, we ADOS. Hey, there was no doggone ADOS in no 1989. Stop it, Yvette. Goodness, you was probably no, you just play some more.
Been here in the belly of the beast, so we know when they come for you what that feels like, what that looks like, and we know that we're the best at trying to combat it. We've been here, been doing this for a long time. So I don't agree with anybody who says that this person, this man, doesn't deserve justice. And I heard today that he might be out of the hospital, so I'm very happy about that if that's true.
Oh well, okay. So you actually did see her. So Yvette cleaned it up for her. You see how Yvette helped her out? Because that was just really a setup to dog foundational Black Americans. Understand the only reason why this is happening is because of a few reasons. One, of course, being reparations. Number two, being the steady, persistent call for an anti-Black hate crime bill. And so these are the things that they are well aware of. We are on their heads about. So they have to figure out some way to start working in how to keep the fringe Blacks from going all the way off the reservation. So this is literally what this conversation is about, and we finna get to that because this is what it's all about. This is all fluff.
I've heard that too.
Yeah, so we are not those people. Like our aim in terms of reparation is specific, the same way, African countries, the same way CARICOM has a specific claim. Our claim is specific, and we would love to collaborate with those groups, but we don't act.
Whoa. You want to collaborate with groups that are trying to undermine you? Okay. See how that works? Wow. Anyway.
Out and call in a xenophobic way and call out people who may not be ADOS because they're not ADOS and say they don't deserve justice in this country because they're ADOS.
Now, you ain't never heard nobody say nothing like that. And if they did, I guarantee you they were aligned with that group. And that ain't no foundational Black American-led group. That is a arrow and a feather, and they are all together. Understand? That's a whole separate thing over there. And that's been my whole point this whole time. Like, y'all gotta watch what they're doing. They keep trying to align you with people. And you gotta be careful with who they're trying to align you with. So you hear the same phrases like, oh man, all those people that say this and say that. I know who that sounds like. I definitely can say that. And considering I know what it sounds like, then I would have to wonder. I've always said, like people are moving like COINTELPRO. And when me and Black Alpha held our space, FBA United, I said in that space, if we can't move forward and we go back to nonsense beef, I'm just going to believe that some of these people are agents. Or you just simply do not have the progression of this type of movement in your heart. You have a different self-serving agenda. So if you're going to do that, then we're going to have to label you that and let that be that. But now you're starting to see Yvette get into this, and they're going to start taking this political turn. But what I want y'all to understand, this is discounting, because notice, we're not hearing Tariq Nasheed's name. So what they're doing is like they're beating around the bush about these points, and not so much beating around. But
that's not what we do.
And to your credit, as I've learned more about ADOS and the work that you do, and I applaud you. I think the work you've been doing is phenomenal. I think it's progressive, and I think it's leading. Karen and I were having a discussion earlier in the program about, and these are Karen's words, not mine, about a Black agenda. Mm-hmm. And in fact, ADOS has a Black agenda. Yeah. So I'd love to hear from you on a topic we discussed earlier. We talked about how Black folk need to come to the table with a demand, with an agenda, with a program. Otherwise, if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. So talk about your agenda and how you've helped to make that agenda real and empowering to.
I can't stand when these dirtbags get out here and start hollering that nobody has ever presented a Black agenda. My eye. Oh, Lord, the back of the final call has a doggone agenda. So to act like, man, I don't know what the Black agenda is. What was the Million Man March about? Who remembers what the Million Man March was about? One of the big things that, because I see a lot of people going back and forth online with like King Cam, and they're kind of doing that whole like, well, what has the nation been doing? Why ain't the nation pushing for reparations? Well, I guess your daddy wasn't at the Million Man March. Because so many people talking, well, what have they done? You ain't never heard of the Million Man March? What the hell do you think they were doing in Washington? You do realize that one of the things that they were there to do was demand reparations for the, and so again, when I played that Malcolm X clip, when they're talking about, well, the Puerto Ricans need to be added. No. This is a problem built that stems from slavery. Oh, well, I mean, hey, nobody would even know. Yeah, they would. So this is what they have been on. That's not xenophobic. But see, because it is affecting the Democratic line, all of a sudden they have to come out with new ways to identify a clear situation. So now what? The people in Chicago who are complaining about being displaced, xenophobic? Because, hey, you wasn't going to do nothing for us, but now you done found $51 million, which is just the beginning, and it's going to be much more costly of a process of money going to people who shouldn't even be there. And then you're setting them up while not doing anything for these Black folks. That's ridiculous. And you should be ostracized for doing so.
People and give them direction in terms of how we can move and make progress.
Well, like you said, if you go to adosfoundation.org, we have a Black agenda. So I hate when people say it's just about reparations and there's so much more that has to happen. Yeah, it's over there, right? It's at that page. Because one of the things that we have to do, one of the things that bothered me so bad during the Obama administration administration. I remember Al Sharpton saying, well, you all tell me that President Barack Obama has to have a black agenda. Well, I don't know what the black agenda is. I don't know what it looks like. And so you have to be forward facing and say, okay, the next time this happens, I'm gonna have a black agenda for you. I'm gonna have something that not only protects us against discrimination, it protects us in terms of property. If we have an agricultural, we have one for business, we have one for cannabis, we have one for everything, we have one for justice, mass incarceration, everything you could mention. And I think we do have to come to the table and say, listen, we can agree to disagree. You can have some additions to the black agenda, but we have to have an agenda for all people. Like reparations is a specific justice claim for ADOS, but the buy-in of other people is like, listen, we have something here for you too. We don't want you.
Wait a minute. Uh-oh. What did she say? So she needs to she's not worried about all people. Well, all black folks. And again, see, what they're doing is setting up a dishonest argument. Meaning they're trying to push this narrative to where anybody talking like us must automatically be xenophobic. And so now you're trying to diminish the movement just to get you, and I guess, you know, your compadres some shine. And, there's more too. The crazy thing is the way that they're not mentioning Tariq's name, but the way they keep doing the whole, oh, well, that group, that other group. Why are you talking negatively about other black people? While consistently talking about how we need to unify. Notice how that's double speak.
You to get caught up in the same things as we get caught up. People always say, Barack Obama, what makes him not able? He couldn't catch a cab either. Not being able to catch a cab is discrimination, right? We have something here for discrimination. That is a lived experience of black people in this country. That's very different than coming from slavery and being owed for multi-generational plunder. So the reparations that we talk about is very specific for a specific group. But there is a black agenda here that improves the quality of life for all black people in America. And so we feel like we have something here in terms of our movement for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yvette Carnell is here, CEO of ADOS. Dr. Randall Pinkett is here as well. You get lumped in, and some folk that think that they're ADOS or they wear the colors of ADOS are very toxic in these spaces. And I know you've seen it. And to me, I'm like, how does this help? Right? I love having.
Again, I've seen so many people being dishonest in these spaces. Now you start getting into the trolls, the known troll spaces. So now we're moving into witnessing the danger of those. Because again, for mostly everybody, everything is new. So some of these things that are coming down the pike, y'all have not expected or seen before. Well, this is one thing that is coming, and they are trying to make sure that other group does not get so far separated from the rest of us, which has pretty much happened on Twitter. There's a clear separation of what that thing is over there and what everybody else is. They're a arrow and a feather, and they stick together. Now, are they going to be in a position of promoting positive change or unity? Absolutely not, because that's not their function. Their function has always been serving the order of chaos. How do you know? Because there's never any peace amongst them with anyone else. They fell out with each other multiple times. Then, it's all public because everything's a clout chase and a clout grab. So you got to fall out in public. Oh, well, I'm going to do this space. I'm going to run you down on this app. What? What? I mean, good grief. Y'all understand? Randall pink dress. This dude, I don't know where you got him from. Like, where's this dude from? For real. Where's his family from?
Having an agenda. I even like the mission, but how do we get there if we're not going to, acknowledge each other's humanity in the fact that we may disagree? I may not agree with you on everything, but we cannot be in this name. I mean, it's so bizarre to me. And I've been.
Name calling is not missing somebody's humanity. A 14-year-old getting gunned down in the back. That is when your humanity is being played with. When you have Daniel Pennies choking out brothers on a subway. You understand? You have City Bike Carolyn Bryant that might be trying to set up some hard-headed, ungrateful tethers. But here's the thing. All this tether is here's the point. He letting you know he don't want to be tethered. All right, well, cool. And then, but the other, they killed him. Well, he's not dead. I think he's about to get out the hospital. Boy, he's made a miraculous recovery, didn't he? He was dead 1 minute, and next thing you know, he's walking out the hospital. Boy, that is a miracle. Yvette just politely, I hear he's doing well and getting out the hospital. It's like, oh, okay, well, Lazarus man. For real, blueberry muffin. It's like, back from the grave, baby, I'm back. Lord. Lord. Oh, let's hear some more.
Guilty of throwing you in with the other organization because I'm like, if it's not about
there it is. Organization
progressing us, then it can't be, because I've seen some people wearing that banner acting that way. So it seemed like y'all are all the same.
No, you have not. Family, how is it that the biggest group of nobodies that will never be mentioned for who they are individually, their antics are always mentioned? Think about that for a minute. Because what they're talking about is only one particular group. And then you say, well, I know they were wearing this banner. How does this, why do you think this false tie? Well, number one, if this didn't exist, then no one could falsely tie anything into it, right? So now we need to look back at maybe, why does this exist? And now we're looking at where the play comes in at. Attack from one end. Because remember, they were also muddying up the language. I think black first mean black American first. Okay, well, he just told you what it meant. Well, I thought it was something else. Okay, well, he just told you what it was, but I still think it's something else. Well, I authored it. Well, I mean, this is how I believe it, how I perceive it. See, those type of people, they weren't around to come about. What were you there for? They are not progressive. They're not teaching you anything. We're going to pull up. All of that is for show. Well, what you doing and this and that and that. Here's the point. Now all of a sudden they're being mentioned. Why? They're not even mentioning them. So you'll always get this. Well, there's people attached, and you see in these spaces. Yeah, that's how you know they're not, because foundational Black Americans are not in these spaces like that, doing that. I can see for a lot of the part. I mean, of course, I don't see all the spaces, but let's be clear. We know who they're talking about because the type of things that they're saying only comes from one group with the arrow and a feather. That would be who said, well, he ain't FBA, so he don't deserve to get no justice. Right. That sounds like something extreme that they would say. That makes total sense. But now, it's like, oh, man, these people, they're trying to be with they lumped you in there. And no, they didn't. Stop it. All this, it's 2023. Nobody's confused.
I'm glad you're making the distinction. Thank you for that. Around voting.
Always been.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well,
No.
I just want to say, I'm actually, I actually feel blessed that other group exists, because one of the things that you have to do as a leader is just kind of set the environment. This is the tone, this is the mood.
Yes, as a leader. So you want to be a leader. See, again, and see what we have to do, and we have to set the tone, because in this and that, and I'm your mama, and oh, you are my way with children. No, Lord, this woman here. I mean, Yvette Carnell is just, she is starting to move into overboard narcissism.
And if people want to be toxic, that other group gave them somewhere to go. If they didn't want to do real politics and get involved in real political.
Stop. See, there it is again. See, if that group, so now again, here she goes, taking the feather and the arrow and moving it into the FBA. No, ma'am.
Work, and they just want to sit home and not do anything and not engage at all. That other group gave them somewhere to go that's not ADOS. So in a way, I'm kind of thankful that they got somewhere else to go and somewhere else to be, because I don't need you associated with me. I don't need that toxicity poured into the real work that we're trying to do. So I appreciate that to a certain extent, because yeah, go over there and do that. Don't stay here.
Okay. We had colorful on the show, colorful how am I getting this right? Story. Thank you, Smith. Colorful Story. I'm trying not to say her name. And she was like, okay, so how do we get these tangibles if we're not voting? So where do you stand on elections, voting, and the like? What's happening in 2024 with ADOS?
Well, we're launching ADOS in 2024 is launching a nationwide movement, right? 2023, actually, we're launching this year, nationwide chapters across the country. So we believe in voting. We believe in the political process. People who have accused us of voter suppression just can't hit the nuance with us, in the sense of, we're not for voter suppression. We don't believe you walk away from the process, because then you leave it to right wingers, you leave it to white supremacy, you leave all of that to them.
You leave what now? So if we don't vote for the white supremacists, then we leave things up to the conservatives and white supremacists. unfreaking real. Yvette Carnell's out of her damn mind, family. Y'all better listen to this, to this super duper democratic pivot. Like she's saying, well, you're gonna leave it up to the conservative. Wait, what? Isn't that what the African boy was talking about? Yeah. Meanwhile, this is what we get from this administration, though.
I'm not always going to only talk about what we can do for black people. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
But I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
Believe is in not voter suppression, we believe in voter expression, meaning that we should be able to express our needs, right? And we should be able to improve our quality of life through our vote. In terms of the person or the people or the party that we vote for has to come back and say, you know what, I heard you, I'm gonna make that happen, right?
Well, here's one of the things that we're asking for right now is that with this big crisis going on, we are asking that the government, instead of allocating money to where they refuse to for the black neighborhoods that already existed, we need for them to fire up the jet. That's what we need right now. We need them to fire up the jet. And you understand? And not to mention, for those who did not know, this is a picture from the Million Man March when Minister Farrakhan took 1 million men to Washington, D.C. to demand reparations. I know a lot of y'all probably did not know that if you're too young, but yes, that would have been also one of the main things they were doing there is going for reparations. Thank you. So again, a lot of people just didn't know that. I guess. Maybe, like I said, maybe people too young, but I don't know. That's one of the main things they were there for. And then when they went, what was it, 2016? So again, Brother Sage in the house. What's going on, brother? Yes, sir. What's going on, my brother? Man. These people are something else. So, like I said, with the Million Man March, and also the what was it, Savior's Day, or maybe it wasn't Savior's Day. It might. There was the because I have a band from that. A band from Washington. They went back to Washington D.C. in 2016 in October, and the push for reparations has been a consistent. And also a black agenda has been a consistent. I mean, I show you all the time. This is Dr. Khalid Muhammad's was it a 7-point plan of action. So when people get out here and start talking about what is a black agenda, you know what the hell a black agenda is. Cut it out. And at the end of the day, this is one of the quotes that makes the most sense. Because look at that little part in the bottom. Now, and that's the biggest thing that we have to learn. So while Yvette Carnell is talking this, where I mean, if we don't vote, we just can't lead the process, and we're not talking about leaving the process. We are talking about voting our interest. And so if we are voting our interest, that means a person that is not respecting our vote should not get our vote. Ain't that the case? Now let's hear more of what she says.
I'm gonna work on that when I get there. So we have a belief that voting is an exchange, it's not a gift. And we believe that what we've been doing for far too long is just gifting the party or the head of the party and not saying, okay, what are you gonna do? Let's talk specifically. So
ma'am, isn't that literally the definition of no tangibles, no vote? So either you stand on your principle Because here's the thing. If you're going to give them your vote anyway, then what leverage are you using? We just can't abandon the process. Why not? If the process is abandoning you, what are you married to?
We'll just say, well, it's great that it's great that you ain't Trump. Yeah, that's great. I got you. But what about the stuff that we need to improve our quality of life? In some places, what they need is infrastructure. We all need reparations and we're owed that. But in some other places, we got a mass incarceration and policing epidemic. And we have to get very specific about our local and regional goals. And then we have to have national goals as well in terms of what are you going to do with the Justice Department? What are you going to do about Black farmers at the Department of Agriculture? We have to have a grassroots and a top-down approach to this. So we have never said don't vote. We just
top down? Yeah, Yvette. That actually isn't how the grassroots operates. Grassroots is bottom up. You're speaking for the people. So again, that's the whole narcissist, I need to be a leader thing. That's what that is. Man, this woman can't escape herself, can she? I mean, this is, and not to mention, I just got to remind you when we talk about funding partners for that jam woman and all of the people like her, that is a lot of money to go around to different entities to start talking for the Democrats against the people really pressing the line.
said that we have to have some levers of accountability that make sure when we go to the voting booth, we get something in exchange for that vote. I've worked on Capitol Hill. I want us to be a part of the process. I'm not involved in voter suppression, and that's one of the things that happened with Mutale's article. Said they're engaged in voter suppression. We've never said that. I've never said don't vote. I have said that we have to become more engaged. We have to become more knowledgeable. That's why we have a book club, so that you can become more knowledgeable of what you need to do when you get involved in the process.
Okay, let's fast forward. I'm sorry, Randall. We have Yvette Carnell here, CEO of ADOS, and some people are like, "Oh, this is going to be." No, I don't bring anyone on this show to excoriate, to dress them. That's never. If it happens, is the person came in with the wrong energy, trying to fight. That you can get all that smoke. This has never been my intent. My intent is to get us to freedom by any means necessary, and there are multiple different ways to do that. We fast forward. Trump is the nominee. Biden's the nominee. There's a binary choice. I know Marianne Williamson, and I saw one of the Kennedys running as well. What are you directing your folk to do when there are those choices?
Well, the first thing I'm directing, before I direct my people to do anything, I'm directing Biden to come to our conference. Come to us and talk to us.
Well, he ain't doing that. And truth be told, like, Yvette really wants Joe Biden to go to her conference. At that point, with the stain of you being such a Democratic shield, what kind of validity do you think that would give you? I mean, you might as well be showing up to the Boulay brunch. Boy, her ambition is destroying her, man. Because you can't tell me that makes sense. Well, okay, so first off, I'm not going to answer your question. Because, see, here's the thing. Regardless, well, here's the thing. He's not going to come see you. He's not finna come pay no attention to what you're talking about. So what are you going to instruct your people to do? The question ain't changing. First, I'm going to ask him, he ain't coming. So what are they going to do? So I couldn't help but notice how Yvette avoided that question. So meaning that there's no real solid stance against the Democratic position. Henceforth, just a straight up shield. That's all I could see.
and talk to us
Not
about
how you
our
did.
needs.
No,
Don't tell us what you think our needs are. See, one of the things that happens, even if you go to, I have done several shows about Biden when he says, I'm going to do this diversity and inclusion, et cetera, et cetera. And then when you start reading into it, it just says people of color, or it just says brown and black people, and it doesn't have enough specificity. What I want is not to just jump to, oh, we're going to do down ballot. I want to jump first to, why aren't you talking to me? Why aren't you talking to us about what needs to happen to and for us, as opposed to just.
What? Why the hell would he be doing anything when you basically already said you're going to vote for him anyway? What the hell are you thinking? Well, I mean, we just can't leave the boy. I'm hearing the same run around the block foolishness that they was trying that last lap. I'm telling y'all, that strategy is a nail in the coffin, baby. Y'all can't go nowhere with that. I mean, yeah, and I'm glad she cut it down the middle for it too. You okay? Well, 2024. You got Trump, you got Biden. What you gonna tell your people to do? Well, first off, I'm gonna say, Joe Biden, why don't you come talk to us at our conference? I want to know why you ain't talking to us. Because he's an old anti-black racist bigot. He didn't want his kids going to school with you. Because his kids would have to grow up in a racial jungle. That means your black ass. Mine, because we all around the same age. Genius. So, who's he talking about? Me and you. He didn't want his kids, Mr. Crack Pipe Biden, to get all of this worldly influence from all of these jungle-laden bred blacks. And now he got the nerve to see, let me tell you, with such a past like that, and then we got to deal with the justice system, but you're talking about voting the man who actually implemented, and is still proud, by the way, of implementing these laws that tore black folks' families apart for a while. And again, this is how he talks to black folks.
But I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
And then always remember, since you had like 51 million in Chicago, they are breaking the bank in New York. Crisis from coast to coast. Homelessness rampant for the citizens. But these illegals invading are getting put up. And in some of these scenarios, you're moving homeless veterans from shelters to make way for illegals that should not be here. How wicked is that? And so just think back to the flashback of a week after Joe Biden is in office, and this is his meeting with black folks, to whom is his so-called base that you stood up for me and I'm going to stand up for you. And this is the way he stood.
This country is doomed. It is doomed, not just because of African Americans, but because by 2040, this country is going to be minority white European. You hear me? Minority white European. And you guys are going to have to start working more with Hispanics, who make up a larger portion of the population than y'all do.
And so, I don't know if anybody ever really catches that what he's talking about, because he's talking about how the dwindling white numbers, like basically like, hey, y'all, I mean, man, our numbers are going to be so thin. I mean, what are you going to do without us? I mean, we're so great. Like, did y'all catch that? Oh, Blueberry Buffett. What's that from Grace May to J. Brown Congregational Progressive Action? Damn. Yeah, you want to roll tonight, sister. Oh. But yeah, just okay. So we're already back to this talking point. So now Yvette has sidestepped answering the direct question, what are you going to tell your people to do? And so now she said, well, come and talk to us. All right, well, what now?
Getting a group of gatekeepers in a room. So the first thing I'm doing is say, Biden, come to the ADOS conference. We want to talk to you about what our lives look like, what they look like in Mississippi, what they look like in New York, what they look like on the West Coast, what they look like in Detroit, and we want to get you on record to committing to our agenda. What he has said is, though, Leah, we're not gonna do nothing. Don't hold your breath on reparations, right? And then when the black leaders, NAACP and everybody else went there, he said, what? Well, y'all just got to get with the Latinos. No, I'm in the room with you. You get to tell me what you can do for me, and I get to tell you what I can do for you. So to say is not, I'm not going to jump to where we have the binary, right? I want to know why you're not getting in the room with us talking about what our agenda look like, talking about how to infuse resources in our community. That's the first.
So the question is, for those who did not know, 2024, Trump or Biden, what are you telling your people to do? Are you hearing all of this rambling she's doing? That was the question. What are you going to tell your people to do? She has not got around to that part at all.
Thing needs to happen before we get to the end of the road. We got to start right here.
So if that's what we say to Biden and to the elected official establishment, we were talking about this earlier, and I'd love to get your thoughts, Yvette. What do we say to the Black person who's saying the Democratic Party is not meeting my needs? I don't really feel the Republicans. What do you say to them? What do they do?
I think the first thing you say is, I understand why you feel that way. There's a great study which talks about how if Black voters support an issue, it doesn't go anywhere, and it's likely to go backward in the sense of white people or the people in that community are going to oppose that issue because Black people support it. On the other way, if white people and people of color support an issue, what's going to happen is that they're going to be able to move the needle. So what we're seeing is that we are a powerless group. There's no other group that is as powerless as us. We can believe in something, vote for it, and still not.
You can always tell the mouth and the mind of a person that sleeps with a non-Black person. Only they would say some shit like that. Like, are you kidding? If you're not completely powerless, that's a lie. Are you at the same power level as these other people? Not at the moment. But you are not completely powerless. That is not true. But you're pushing that narrative because, I guess if you push defeat before initiation of trying, well, then you've done your job. Right? Boy, oh boy, y'all better this woman ain't cool at all.
Get it. That is us. So I'm going to say, I'm not going to call them lazy. I'm not going to do what Obama says and say, get Pookie off the sofa. What I'm going to say is, listen, I understand how you feel that way, but what you're looking at in terms of a lot of the people on the right wing is that they are necessarily just openly antagonistic to what we believe in. Now, what we have on the left and the liberals a lot of times is benign neglect. They're not going to get on board because they feel like we're a captured vote and they don't have to get on board. You don't have anywhere to go. You're not going to vote Republican.
Well, good, Yvette. You've given us a good illustration of what both parties seem to present. Now, the question is, it's 2024. It's Trump and it's Biden. What are you telling your people to do? That has been the damn question. What the hell is she talking about? I mean, and Saturn rings and Moon and Mars. What? Jupiter and Pluto and beyond. I mean, good Lord.
Because they racist or whatever. And so you're not going to come over here. You're not going to vote for them. So you're going to vote for us. So because of that, we don't have to do anything for you. So I'm going to say, listen, don't sit it out, though. We have to get involved. The answer is not to just back away or just.
Bam. Okay, so yeah, you know, they're not gonna give us shit, but let's vote for them anyway. Yeah, that we could have just that would have just sufficed in the beginning than all of this long, fantastical 5 minutes of ranting to avoid answering the question, just to get back to, well, if they ain't gonna do nothing, I mean, you just can't sit it out now. I mean, of course we're gonna vote Democrat. So what you're doing is delivering up votes regardless if you get something for your vote or not. What a leader. What a good freaking leader you are, Yvette Carnell.
Vote reflexively for the other party. Our goal, our movement is to influence the party that we are.
Whoa, other party. Oh, see? Oh, now you're getting the integrated talk like as if, we all the problem. And you ain't aligned with nobody, and that's the problem. So I can't help but notice that fact. She's full of crap.
The base of to do what it is supposed to do for us. You know, during Obama's first election, we turned red states blue, and we didn't get nothing for it, or not nearly enough for it. And so our job, our question, our mission is, if we have a situation already where the majority of Black voters and ADOS voters vote for Democrats, we have to ask ourselves why we're not getting as much as we should get in exchange for our vote. And we have to become more active, not less active, when that is the reality that we're facing.
You're saying lean in?
How? Because all you said was turn around and vote for the party that already got, you just said it out your own mouth, has a policy of benign neglect. You did all of that talking around just to say we stand on the Democrat plantation regardless. And we done with that.
You gotta lean in, and you gotta lean in with specificity.
Amen. Amen.
Some of the biggest misconceptions were with Yvette Carnell, CEO of ADOS. Biggest misconceptions about your organization and your movement that you'd like to clear up.
We're xenophobic. We don't like, it's almost as if you can't have a position on immigration. We have said that, listen, we are on the bottom. So if you bring in other people who are also on the bottom because of their position, it displaces us, right? So we have to have a conversation about the displacement. And having that conversation, you can't even open the door and say, let's have this conversation without people saying, oh my God, you're xenophobic. You hate all immigrants. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, right? There's a conversation to be had because the people who are benefiting and the people who are dropping bombs in other countries and creating a situation where they have to leave, where they have to run, are not us. Those are imperialists. That's not us. So we have to have a conversation about imperialism as well. That doesn't make me xenophobic to say we got to have this conversation because the people at the top, the wealthy people, are high.
Number one, these people who are coming here, flooding our country and flooding our borders illegally, are not running from anyone dropping bombs. They are running here to get their cash up. None more, none less. They were not in harm's way. They leaving there to come here, get their cash up, and get some of this money. That's what they want to do. So to sit up here and act like, well, we're not, that's imperialistic, stop it. Because again, who are you talking about? The Ukrainians? Woman, you shouldn't even be in that conversation. Don't none of that business concern you. And then ain't none of that business going to benefit you.
Hiring nannies, they're hiring factory workers at very low wages, at poor conditions, and that is not to benefit us. So I think there's this belief that the immigration model that we have is there to benefit us, and it's not. It's there to benefit super capitalists at the top. That's the first thing. So I think
that is a fact.
The first thing is that we're xenophobic.
Oh, the super capitalist line. Stop.
Because we want to have a conversation that includes immigration. You can disagree. I don't have a problem with people disagreeing with me, but don't call me xenophobic.
Yes, you do.
I have a view that may not align with yours. Let's have a conversation. So I think that's probably the biggest misconception. The other misconception is that we're only online, right? We're launching chapters, but even before we did that, we have always been outside. We're just going to be outside now in a very managed, a very
We
methodical, and a
outside.
very intentional way. But we are going to be outside. So I think those are probably the two biggest misconceptions about our movement
Very interesting.
and our organization. Initially, there was some, and that was even in the report that you mentioned about that we were Russian sponsored or something.
Right, Russian sponsor. Yeah, that you were backed by the yeah.
I don't even think I know a Russian. And nobody's ever been to provide, even people say, well, these people are right-wing sponsored. I need to see some proof because everything that I get is small donations from people who either watch my YouTube show or just decide they want to give to the foundation. So there is no proof. The New York Times did an article about us, investigated, called everybody, looked into everything, and they said, listen, we can't find any proof that these people are sponsored by Russians or the right wing. And so
Or maybe they got confused with the other organization.
even with them, I just think
that has a museum that is also a nightclub that has a form of pimp
and it's a hookah joint, and it's a
Oh, did you catch that? And has a former pimp. See, this is the thing. See, she finally got a chance to go ahead and take her little shot. But I'm all about unity, liar. No, you're not. You're about the Democrats, and you are up here to sit up here and circumvent a movement. That's why I wanted to go through this, because I wanted to just walk you through Yvette Carnell Schilling. And, because I don't think it's really been done because people asking her other questions. But this is what they're presenting and hoping catching fire. But so pay attention to how often they're going to keep trying to put Yvette Carnell in front of a camera. I just noticed, she's a little more chopped up on this one. She done got her exfoliated. Her dare I say her skin is popping. Her fade is tight and right and lined up. I mean, boy, she got that Chicago line up, don't she? She got that razor line up with the fade. She got that razor touch up.
I mean, it's an event space. But I even with that, I think that's just a basic kind of grill. I don't think that they're sponsored by anybody. I just think that they found a way to use the rhetoric of ADOS and lift those talking points to grift off of that to kind of pour money into their pockets, the leader of that group. So I don't even think that they're sponsored necessarily. They could be. There have been allegations, but I don't think, even if they are, I don't think it's necessarily Russian. But I try not to make those allegations. The only thing I know is that somebody promised politics and they're delivering a hookah joint. So that would cause pause for me to be involved.
Where did he promise politics in a hidden history museum? See, the false misrepresentation is just so outlandish. You have to lie to do it. I mean, this is that's what this is. This is lying. And you're lying for what purpose? I mean, I of course you have to take shots at Tariq Nasheed, but I told you this year, like maybe 2 years ago. Pay attention. Because what they're going to start doing is trying to come at like what we big three. So they're going to try to come at Professor Black Truth, Jason Black, and Tariq Nasheed. Tariq Nasheed being the most visible because he has a business and multiple businesses. So he's the most visible. So of course they go after him like that much. And the leader of that group, former pimp. You know who else is a former pimp? Malcolm X. And all of those blues singers that you really like. So before you start complaining too tough, you might want to go, you remember Johnny Tyler was a pimp. And Johnny Tyler was, for some of you who don't know, what was Johnny Tyler doing before he started singing the blues? Oh, that's right. He was singing gospel. Pimping. singing gospel, pimping. So I'm just saying, before people start getting, oh man, he just from a pimp and this and that. Number one, the man said he ain't never been a pimp. He been around the game. And I don't think people, when I hear about people, oh, he used to be a pimp and he was on this show, don't no real pimp get in front of the government talking about they a pimp. I mean, it's some of the dumbest stuff ever. And being out from the West Coast, understanding it, you go up around where the blade at, we know the difference. It's like he telling you what he was. He's telling you he's a hustling around this, because around the game, there's going to be all different elements. Not everybody around is a pimp. Now, you might hang around pimps, have some ism about yourself. That doesn't mean you sending chicks to the track. That's what pimping is. You could be a player and knock bras every now and then and go knock who you want. Go club it and come home, what they say, with some work. That's being a player. Being a pimp is sending them ladies out there to go get your cash. And he say he ain't done that. I don't know what's so hard about it. Man, he's a pimp. It's like, it's so funny. We all know the dude that they get him confused for, which is Gorgeous Dre. But Gorgeous Dre looks so much different than now that he bald headed. So, I mean, it is what it is. People are going to find ways to lie. But this is, I just want y'all to see that this is going back. And again, okay. Look at what, I want to thank you for your work, Yvette. But this man, he's a former pimp. Nothing about his movies. Nothing about a museum. Oh, it's this and it's that. You found something to complain about a black business. Now, earlier on in the in this interview, remember when Yvette was talking about, well, you were coming after a black organization as black woman led, right? But it's okay for you to turn around. I mean, just the ultimate hypocrisy. But in the same interview, and you pull this off in a matter of 20 minutes. So let's finish this out.
With what they're doing, but I still wouldn't say that they're Russia sponsored or whatever the case may be. I do think their leader is conservative, but hey, I don't pile on to even conservative ADOS, because I want us all to listen. America is a plane that flies with two wings. So I want to be able to have a conversation with anybody who can vote in a way or move in a way that benefits my people.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The pure evidence that ADOS is a Democrat. If I would have put that in the title, they would have been off up in here. So I'll put this in the title after we wrap and let them be angry at the replay. Because again, you understand, like, this is one of those situations where they have to come out. Blueberry Muffin off. Some people have suggested that Ike might have been sending one or two. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised. Lord. Judah Queen said that they still complain if the museum was the size of a football stadium. Facts. And it's a nightclub. It's a museum in LA. Don't you know all art museums are also venues? Like, I played at our art museum many a times. So I mean, it's nothing unheard of. That it would also, because again, museums are typically event places. That's the other way they subsidize their money. It's a business. You know, that's how businesses work. But all of a sudden, this black man, this is just outrageous to me, the hypocrisy that I see. Because with one breath, you're congratulating one person for the works that they're doing, which actually haven't scratched the surface of the stuff that this dude has. But now you're saying, well, hey, it's just a grift and grift. Ma'am, a grift is when you are getting something for nothing. That is not the case when you're getting delivered commerce, product, or a venue. You're just not liking it because you're a damn hater. And I guarantee you, everybody that you hear talking about it, it's the only reason is because they hating. Man, I guess $1 million don't spend like that. Have you spent $1 million? There's always some sucker out there hating. I mean, and it's just getting worse and worse. Worse and worse. And then get upset when they start getting clowned. Oh man, you see what he said? Only a person with this say this and a person like that would say that. And not let these things be said about him, and I take all these stabs at him, and I ain't expecting him to say nothing. Yeah. When you keep poking the bear, always remember.
You shouldn't have been talking shit.
I mean, I'm telling you. Sometimes, you know, you just, some things are just better left alone. You know, I don't know what be wrong with you sometimes, but, you know. We don't have to just keep poking at the man. And then all this xenophobia. And then not to mention, Yvette talking about she wants to work with Cobra and these other groups. What's wrong with you? Hey, CARICOM, and why would you want to work with CARICOM while they busy over here trying to undermine your black ass? That makes no sense. But now it does make sense because you understand that she's holding the line for the Democrats. So can you really continuously trust her around the reparations conversation? Hashtag hands off our reparations.
You have no rights here. We're not under the empire.
And before, talking about xenophobic, again, let's just look at this little piece, because this is how people would be doing it. And they've understood that when we start talking about our exclusive claim, then, oh man, you're xenophobic. And we're not xenophobic. And even our Grace understood that.
Right there. I would not limit our employment demands to Negroes. I would include Puerto Ricans and other minorities throughout our country, which have been similarly discriminated against, though not for so long a period of time as Negroes.
Puerto Ricans weren't enslaved. Yeah, this is a problem that stems from slavery. And this compensation, yes, sir, this compensation is coming to people who were enslaved by the white man for 400 years. The Puerto Ricans don't even fit into this picture.
Well, they do fit into it.
No,
they do fit into it.
The problem is the Negro problem. They're not lynching Puerto Ricans.
If a dark-skinned Puerto Rican went down to Mississippi, he probably would be lynched too.
Spanish, he wouldn't be lynched.
No, they don't.
It's the Negro here, and as long as he can speak Spanish or some other language, or if he ties his head up with a turban or something, he can go anywhere in Mississippi or in your home that he desires.
You're not aware of the fact, are you, that African students have been arrested in our demonstrations in the South?
When they
speak French.
When they have been mistaken for the so-called Negro in America, they've been arrested.
What I'm saying is...
Ooh. He do his little head. French. They speak French. Neck roll tethered. That is hilarious. For those of y'all who've seen Black Dynamite, if y'all know Bullhorn character, what is that? Oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. But nonetheless, and again, never forget, Daniel Penny is not racist.
All right, I'd like to solve the puzzle. Niggers!
Or maybe he is. Meanwhile, in Illinois, this is another part that we covered tonight. Meanwhile, in Illinois, there is some family members calling down to South America like this. I tell you, man, Joe Biden, he say, come to America and bring all the fentanyl with you. So here's what I'm going to do, I'm going to send this money back to you. I'm going to go up to America and we're going to get $50 million in Chicago. Those stupid Americans. And those Yankees, those gringos, they just love giving money because they want to stop the Negros. They want to stop those mayates. And I say, good riddance, because I don't like mayates either. I only like mayates. Only mayate I want is beans, bro. I just want mayates. Come on, man. Trash in their hotel rooms. Yeah, that's right, Judah Queen. Hey, bring us our food we want. You foot the bill, Eric Adams. And now they're in Chicago. Yeah, we're going to need that money. And a matter of fact, displace those black kids. It's like, damn them kids out there. Oh, we got to work with each other too. And see, what we don't understand is when you hear certain xenophobic, first off, stop labeling it xenophobic. Because that's not fair to the people that live there that are saying, hey, we already overcrowded, and then you putting these people up in our space without our say. We don't have no say here. That ain't cool. And people, just kind of just got to go with the flow. I mean, these people need a place to stay, and there's some other things that, we can possibly do. We need to have compassion for our fellow men. You know what I'm saying? We all peoples of color.
Shuffling and scratching and bootlicking and buck dancing.
Because we already know that we
got to watch these old niggas.
So this is going to be a new way of doing things, and Yvette Carnell is trying to take us back down that disastrous road of just blue no matter who vote down ballot. And so I would have to say that Yvette Carnell, because this is way more fitting for Yvette Carnell than it is Tone. This is Yvette Carnell.
You shade tree nigga.
Like I said, it's more fitting for her than Tone. So with that being said, Babylon is fallen. Babylon is fallen. Let it fall and let us rise. Can you dig it? So with that being said, we have Rick Chow murdered this 14-year-old, just graduated 8th grade kid, ain't even got a chance to start his life over a perceived supposed robbery, or not robbery, shoplifting. So number one, why would you be shooting someone over shoplifting? And then why would you be chasing them down the street? And all of this talk, his story doesn't make no sense. Oh, and the son, and that you're chasing him for a bottle of water. Really? Anyway, so, and then of course we talked about the bus driver that duct taped the 10-year-old boy, which that makes no sense. And then we also had to talk about the 10 new words, black words that they're putting into the Oxford Dictionary, which one of the words which I have never heard is that, was it Aunt Hagar's children? Never heard that expression a day in my life. And now they're putting it under us. And in cakewalk, understanding the cakewalk is being attributed to us as if, see, cakewalk. They put cakewalk. They were happy making their slave owners happy. The plantation owner was happy with his slaves, and they all just lived one big happy family. You understand? Can't do that. Miss D at Sweet 201. I see it in the chat. So these folks, you can't just you just can't let them just ride and get by. You got to monitor very closely how these people are doing things. And then we and again, like I said, anytime you have Skip Bates anywhere near something, go on alert, because it can't be good. Then we talked about Yvette Carnell, and her coming out here. Number one, she avoided the question that was very clearly asked to her about, hey, what you going to tell your people to do? Well, at the end of the day, she finally broke down and told you that she's just going to tell her people to vote blue no matter who. I mean, she didn't say vote blue. She just said vote, but we know what that means. Because then she goes on to make a mention about how the conservatives and right-wingers, and then they'll just have it. So that means you're voting. Oh, and then she made the mention of Tariq being, well, I think he's a conservative. Nothing wrong with that. There's plenty of black conservatives. Being a conservative in value is different than being a conservative by their definition of their party. Humongous difference. That's talking about personal values. And if you got into a conversation with a person about that, cool. But to sit up here and try to label something, that's the Democratic shaming tactic of the last 5, 6, 7 years, which is now falling by the wayside because everything they promoted, like intersectionality, has only produced grooming. Because intersectionality targets the family and elevates everything else anti-family. And so for black folks, we are keen to the game. You might have Jane Elliott's out here running around telling you it is white women's duty or black women's duty to make sure that the white race does not go extinct. And yes, she did say that on Roland Martin Unfiltered, by the way. And he just sat there and said, well, I can say for those of you who are trying to infiltrate and sneak in a Democratic agenda, vote blue no matter who, I think I can safely say I speak for the grassroots, the voices of new black media, all of us here at beatzillapdx official, and the chat, and all of us around the world that understand reparations are owed. For those of you who think Yvette makes sense and that little plan is gonna work, well, family, this is our message to you.
Get up off of that cocaine and get up off of that crack. Get yourself together and get your mind back.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Where's that at? And also, of course, hands off our revolution.
You have no rights here. We're not under the empire.
Oh, Lord. So, family, you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at beatzillapdx. You can email me at ourrealtruth at gmail.com. That's ourrealtruth@gmail.com. And of course, if you want to put some money in the bucket, help support this broadcast, you can definitely do so. All your support is welcome and much, much, much appreciated. Thank you. Peace, power, blessings, and protection be up on all of you. And you can do so by way of CashApp, $beatzillapdx. CashApp, $beatzillapdx. And we also have PayPal, which is Zilla Music. That is ZILLAMUZAK at PayPal. And with that being said, we are going to get ready to get out of here. Let's see. Doris Davis, shout out to you for the Cash App. Peace, power, blessings, and protection be up on you. So I appreciate it. Got your government out there. My bad, but nobody knows who you are, so they don't know your handle over here. So I guess we'll just keep your identity safe. With that being said, we're gonna be here Friday for the weekly wrap up. So y'all stay black, stay safe, stay vigilant, and stay alive. Can you dig it? Black first, black first, black first. Shalom, y'all.
When you know who Satan is, yes, sir, you don't have to kill him. No. The stone of truth. Yeah. See, that's what you throw. Yes, right. Allah says, had we wished to take a pastime from before, surely we would have done it. Nay, we cast truth at falsehood till we knock out its brains. Every one of you that knows the truth, stand up and tell it from the mountaintop. Black people can't take it no more. So wherever you are on the job, in the factory, I don't care where you are. If you know the truth, stand up on the truth and tell Satan, who the hell are you to try and pick my friends? Farrakhan is God's man, and you are from the enemy of God. So to hell with you. Stand up on it like a man.